So good morning, all of you. Am I audible? Okay. So continuing with our discussion on dynamic programming, the next problem statement which we are going to study is longest common subsequence. Now, as we know that we are all aware of substring. What is substring? Substring means the part of a string. But here the difference is that it is subsequence, right? So first we need to understand what do we mean by subsequence. Uh, Before we go inside this problem statement, let's first discuss what do we mean by subsequence. Let's say you have this string hello world. Okay, so if I ask that is hello is a substring of hello world, then the answer will be obviously yes. What about world? It is also substring. But let me put it in this way: we have E, O, and W. Okay, can I say that EOW is a substring of hello world? Obviously, no. The reason that EOW is not in adjacent, that means they are not adjacent letters. So if I say LOW, then obviously it is a substring because they are adjacent. Similarly, any letters or a group of letters which are adjacent to each other, that means they are contiguous. Then that is known as substring. But here we are talking about subsequence. It means that the letters not necessary to be a contiguous. So for example, this can be also, let's say E, then O, then W, then O. So this can be a subsequence of this hello world string. So similarly, you can find out these are the subsequence or the example of subsequence of this string HEW, because you have H, E, and W somewhere. Then you have RL because you have R and L. Then these also. So obviously subsequence means that letters in subsequence are already there, not necessarily in contiguous way, but obviously it has to be. For example, if I say DLR is not a subsequence, right? Because you cannot find anything after D. Similarly, if I say WOL, right? So there is W, there is O, and there is L. So that's a subsequence. But if I say WOH, right? So you have W and O, but there is no H after this. So that's why WOH is not a subsequence. So like this, you can find out the subsequence within any string, or there can be a number of subsequence within any string. What is problem statement? You have been given two sequences. That means similarly, this is one sequence and then you have been given another sequence. So given two sequences, find the length of longest subsequence present in both of them. That's the problem statement. That means you have been given hello world and something else. You have been given hello India. Then out of this hello world and hello India, you need to find out subsequence which is common in both the sequence and it is longest. We'll discuss the example, then it will be more clear. But it is mainly used, the application of this problem is mainly in bioinformatics, where you are actually comparing the gene sequence and in order to find out the similarity. So whenever you want to find out the similarity in the strings, or you want to get some estimates about how similar two strings are, then you require an application of longest common subsequence. So there are many application of this problem statement in different domains. So let's move further. So this is an example. Let's say you have been given two sequences. One is this one A B C D G H, and second is this one A E D F H R. Our objective is to find out subsequence which is common in both and which is also longest. Why we say it's longest? Because there can be a multiple subsequence, right? So if you observe this, then ADH is the longest common subsequence in both the sequence. So here you find A, D, and H. Similarly, there is A, D, and H. Similarly, there is another example AGG, TAB, and this is another sequence. So you have sequence 1, you have sequence 2. Goal is to find out the subsequence which is common in both and which is also longest. So GTAB here is there, and GTANB here is also there. So these are just an examples of what do we mean by longest common subsequence. If you want to find out the solution, what is the straightforward and simplest approach? Simplest approach is that you find out or generate all the sequences, right? Using any permutations algorithm, and find out which one is common in both, and again which one is the longest one. So this is very simplest solution, but obviously it is not an efficient solution one. So because it requires something else, you can't just go for a brute force approach in which you just check each and every sequences. So you need a better approach, and that can be provided by dynamic programming. And the reason for that is because this particular problem statement has optimal substructure property. Let's discuss what it means. Normally, when you look at these two sequences, let's say you are looking at this sequence and this sequence. Uh, Obviously, when you want to find out the common subsequence in both, you can start with the last character. So let's say you have last character over here is B, here is also B. So why this particular problem statement has longest common optimal substructure property? Because if, let's say, you have two sequences X and Y which are of length M and N. So that means X is between 0 to M minus 1 and Y is between 0 to N minus 1. Now you have two cases. First case, if last character matches, that means this character and this character is matching with each other. When it matches, it means that you have at least one common subsequence, or you have at least a common subsequence of length 1. So what you can do, you can simply just remember that there is one match, plus because last character has matched, what you can do now is you can simply ignore this character and you can create another problem statement by skipping this last character. Here also you can skip the last character. So your problem statement was between this sequence and this sequence. Now you are trying to solve a sub problem. What is that sub problem? You will try to identify a subsequence between AGGTA and GXTXAY. Okay. So your main problem is divided into a sub problem, plus because last character were matched, you are assured that there is at least one character which is already there in both the sequence. That's why you are saying 1 plus. So you can see over here, if my problem statement is between LCS X and Y, then what is the scenario? If last character matches X of, that means last character means X of M minus 1. Why M minus 1? Because my string starts with 0 as per the assumption. So if your last character matches, then the solution is equal to 1 plus skip the last character. So you call the same algorithm LCS by skipping the last character. You can see you are now calling up to 0 to M minus 2. Here also Y is 0 to N minus 2 plus 1. Why 1? Because the character you found already one character which is matching, or which is there in both the sequences. This is the case if your last character matches. What if it doesn't match? Like this, here the last character is not matching with each other. So now what you will do, now you will further divide your entire problem into two sub problems. First sub problem means you will pass the entire sequence 1 and skip the last character of sequence 2. This is the first problem. That means you are now going to compare the last character of this sequence with second last character of this sequence. That means your first problem is you give the entire sequence 1 and skip the last character. And second, you skip the last character in sequence 1 and give the entire sequence 2. Whatever is the largest one, that will be your solution to the main problem statement. So that's why what we are doing, in case the last character not matches, then your problem statement or your solution is further can be achieved by solving these two sub problems. What we are doing over here, LCS X, skip the last character. So you are skipping a last character of X and applying Y as it is, or give X as it is and skip the last character in Y. So that's what we do, and find out what is the maximum of these two. Okay, so if you keep on, you can see this is a recursion, right? You are call function calling itself. Okay, you have this function, then it calls the same with different parameters. So basically it's a top down approach which can be applied. That is the reason why we say that this particular problem statement has optimal substructure property. Okay, so let's understand this with example. Let's say you have this two inputs, AGG and second is GX So what it means, first we will compare the last character. What is the last character over here? It's B, and over here it's B. So LCS of this and this, that means X and Y is equal to what? 1 plus LCS of, because it matches, now you will skip that last character for next problem. So what you are doing, AGGTA, and here also you are skipping it, GXTXAY. Similarly, if you have this as an input, AGGTABH and GXTXAYB, then in that case, because H and B last character not matches, what you will do, you will give entire sequence 1 to one input, skip the last for the second one. So first and second, and skip the last character in first sequence and apply the give the second sequence as it is, and find out maximum of these two. So that's what the approach. And if we put this approach in equation or in form of equation, this is what we can achieve. So LCS XI is equal to null if I is equal to 0 or j is equal to 0. That means if the length of string is null or any of string is null, then you don't have any common subsequence because there is no sequence at all, right? Second case, if xi and yj, xi means the last character or ith character and jth character. So if this is the case, if they are matches, in that case, it is LCS of xi minus 1, yj minus 1. So you will simply skip the last character. So it was I and j. Now it is I minus 1 and j minus 1 plus 1 because they are matching. But if this is not the case, that means the last character is not matches, then what you will do, you will find out the maximum of xi and yj minus 1 and xi minus 1 and yj. I hope these equations are clear, right? It is the same. If you understood the approach, obviously, this is going to be repeated till you reach at the beginning. That's what this algorithm is doing. And that's why we say it's a optimal substructure property. That means solving a main problem requires a solution of the sub problem. So if you solve this sub problem in optimal way, your main problem will always going to be solved in optimal way. And that's why this guarantees you the optimum output. So what is the method to solve? First is obviously this is the recursion, right? You can straight away write a recursive algorithm for this without applying any other thought. Okay, but as we have discussed, recursion is not the appropriate way to solve every problem. I'm not saying that recursion should not be used. I'm saying that it should not be used when it is not mandatory. There are some problems in which you have to use recursion. There is no other way of doing it, but you should not use it everywhere. So let's put it in a tabular form. What is the method to solve? You will simply build a table. Let's say you have this string and another string. So you have this many number of rows, A, G, G, T, A, B, and this many number of columns. So something like this. Let's say you have this AGCAT and GAC. These are the two sequences. So we will build a table in which AGCAT, that means a sequence 1 over here on column and sequence 2 on rows. It can be anything. That means you can put this sequence at row and this sequence at column. It doesn't make any difference, right? So normally what we have is we will build a table. This first column and first row is for blank. That means if there are no letters, that means a null. Here also it's null. Now what we are putting inside the cell, that is to be understood. That is to be uh, understood by this equation. Remember what we are doing? Xi and Yj we are computing, and we are basically comparing what? Xi and Yj. That means we are comparing, let's say if you are starting with this, that means obviously this is the first row, so it will be null. First column is also null because there is no letter in string sequence 1. Here also there is no letter in sequence 1, so that's why this is all null. Now let's put a value inside this cell. When you want to put value inside this cell, you have to look at these two letters. That means in which row it is and in which column it is. So we are comparing basically column and row. So what is that? A and G. A and G not matches, right? So then you go ahead. Okay, because it not matches, that means you will either consider or either you will see this equation. When it not matches, what you are doing? LCS of xi y minus yj minus 1. So consider this is as a row and this as a column. So what you are doing? Row, same row, xi, that means same row, xi, same row. So same row and yj minus 1, that means the previous column, right? So one value you will take from same row and previous column, and another value you will take from previous row, xi minus 1, in same column. So now if you look at this, I want to put value at this point. So one value I will take from same row, right, and previous column. So that means this value. And another value I have to take from same column but previous row. That means this value. Whatever is maximum of this two has to be put over here. That's what this equation means. Okay. So if I see at this, what is maximum means the longest. So here it is null, here also null. So there is no point of having any maximum. You will simply put null. So that's why we are putting null. Then you move ahead. Okay. You compare these two letters G and G. They are same. When they are same, let's again see the equation. When they are same, what you are doing? Xi minus 1, yj minus 1. I minus 1 means xi. I minus 1 means previous row. And j minus 1 means previous column. Plus 1. 1 means that later. So what you are doing over here? They are matches. Previous row and previous column. So that means you are taking the value from the diagonal. So you are taking the value from the diagonal cell plus 1. 1 means whatever letter which is matching. See, there are two ways to solve this thing. There is one way which is called this kind of an approach in which you are putting the counts. For understanding or for better understanding, I am writing the letters actually, right? Otherwise, you are supposed to put this count and you are supposed to put these arrows. What we will understand what this arrow means, but let's first complete this evaluation. So what we are doing now, you have G and G matches, so you are taking the value from the diagonal plus the letter which matching. So that's why you have G over here. Again, you come to the next cell here. That means you are comparing C and G, not matches. When it is not matching, then you will see what previous row, same column, and previous column, same row. Whatever is the longest one, you will put over here. So out of these two, the longest one is G. That's why you put over here. Again, you compare A and G, not matches the longest. T and G, not matches the longest. So by this way, what this indicates actually, it indicates that if your first string is G and your second string is AGCAT, then this is the longest common subsequence. So by this means you can compute for the entire table, and whatever value you are getting in the last cell, last column, similar to the previous approaches, that will be your result. So let's continue with this. So after first, second iteration, you will have this state of table. In the next iteration, what happens? Obviously, you are interested in this cell. So what it is, A and A, they are matching. So diagonal value you have to look at. So that is null, plus 1. So that is A. So you will find A. Again for next cell, that means this cell you have G and A. G and A are not matches. So you will see either this row, that means previous row or previous column. Whatever is the longest one, you put over here. Now there is a common, right? You have longest means the length of the letter or length of the string. Here the length is 1, here also length is 1. So both of them are same. So you will simply write both. Okay. This is just for your understanding, and why we will understand that. Then you have C, A. They are not matching. So you will see previous row or previous column. Okay. All of them are having length 1. So you will simply write that. Then next A and A. So there is a match. When you have a match, you will see the diagonal, right? So you have G over there plus matches, so A. So that's why it becomes GA now. So that means now you have letter of 2. Here what it was 1, then 1 plus 1, that makes it 2. Then you have T. T and A will be compared, right? They are not matching, so you will see previous row or previous column. Previous row is G, previous column is GA, which is longest. So that's why you write longest or GA over here. So by this means that what it tells you, that when your first sequence is GA and second sequence is AGCAT, then this is the longest common subsequence, GA. Similarly, you will compute for the last row. What happens is, when you have this particular position, then you have A and C. A and C not matches, so either you take value from this or this, whichever is the longest one. So obviously this one is the longest, so you put A over here. Then G and C not matches, so take from previous row or previous column, right? Whatever is the longest, you put over here. All of them are same, so what you will write is simply A and G. Then C and C, there are matches. Because it's a match, you will see the diagonal. On diagonal you have A and G, so plus 1, so that's why it makes AC and GC. Again C and A, no match, so you will see the previous row or previous column. Previous row it was GA, here it is AC and GC. All of them are of same length, so you will write all of them. Again T and C, see the previous row and previous column and same. So this is how the table will be built, and the last value, that means the value which is over here, that will be your result. That will be your longest common subsequence between these two sequences. Okay, let's look at the approach which actually is being used in any algorithms and which actually helps you to find out the uh, sequences. So it's the same thing. Instead of writing a string, now we are writing the length. Okay. So obviously, when your first string is null, you don't have any longest common subsequence, so that's why you write 0. Similarly, if your other string is null, then you write all zeros. Now you'll again repeat the same thing. A and G not matches. So previous row or previous column, both are same. So you write both arrow. That means it can be anything. Then you have G and G. There is a match. You take the value from the diagonal. So 0 plus 1. So that's why it makes it 1. And because the value is being derived from the diagonal space or diagonal position, your direction will be towards it. Okay, that means that it indicates that this value is derived from this cell. Here this indicates that this value is derived from both the cells. Again, C and G no match. So either you take it from previous row or previous column. Maximum is from previous column. That's why you write 1 and diagonal instead of you will show this arrow. It indicates that this value is derived from this cell. Again, A and G. So A means A and G means that there are no matches. So that means you will derive value from previous row and previous column. You can see that this is 0 and this is 1. So obviously this is maximum. So the value is derived from this. So you write 1. Again 1. You repeat this A and A. There is a match. Okay. So this arrow is not correct. It has to be diagonal. Okay. This is not the correct one because A and A is matching. That means you are deriving value from the diagonal. So that is 0 plus 1. So that makes it 1. Then G and A, no match. So you'll see the previous row, it's 1. Previous column, it's 1. So you will show both the arrow because 1 and 1 both are same. That means they are matches. C and A, no match. Again 1, 1, 1. A and A, there is a match. That means you will see that value from the diagonal. What is that? 1 plus 1. That makes it 2. And because you have derived from this diagonal, you will write 2. T and A, no match. So previous row, previous column, 2 is maximum. So you will write 2 and show the arrow like this. Similarly here, C and A, no match. So see the previous row, previous column. Previous row is 1, previous column is 0. 1 is maximum. So we will derive value from 1. That means previous row. And you will show arrow like this. Then G and C, no match. So either this cell or this cell, both are 1. So you will write 1 and both the arrows. Then C and C match. So see the diagonal, 1 plus 1 makes it 2. Arrow is towards it. A and C no match. Previous row, previous column, both are 2. You will write 2 and arrow both. And T and C, what it means, you have a no match. So again 2 and 2 and both arrow. Right? So what this means, it means that longest common subsequence or the length of the longest common subsequence in these two strings is 2. Why we are interested in length and not the actual character? Because most of the time this is being used for finding out the similarity. And similarity is always to be measured in form of, means how many characters are similar. We are not interested in actual characters most of the time. We are only interested in are these two strings are similar or not, or what is the similarity index out of 100, how many characters are similar. So that's what we are interested in. That's why we never store the actual letter like this. What we keep or a track of is a count. And why we are showing the arrows as well, that gives you the facility to trace back or find out the actual sequence as well. Let's understand how. You will start with the last character and you will follow these arrows. Okay. So for last character you have two paths. So obviously you have two direction to go. At this time we will go into only one direction, and we will keep in mind that there is another direction as well. So let's get into the upward direction first. So we will go the up, then there is a left arrow, so you will go left. Whenever you find the diagonal, you preserve that letter. That means you remember that letter. So you remember that there is A. Again you follow the diagonal. Here it's a left. You come here. Again diagonal, so you remember G. Then you go back. So it's 0. That means that's over. So what this means? It means that you have one sequence which is at G and A. Similarly, if you follow this path or the other arrow, again see, go back to the last cell and take another route. Another route is towards left. So you come here again. You have two ways to go. Let's say we go to upward first. So then you go upward, then diagonal. So you remember that A, G. So this is the same thing, right? Which we have derived from the previous case. So again, you have a diagonal over here. So you go left. Whenever you find a diagonal, you remember. So here you find diagonal. So you remember C, then goes into the direction of arrow. So you come here, then you have two paths. So you go this path, then you remember G. Again, if you go this path, right? So this is the way by which you can actually create or actually generate uh, the actual sequence as well by using this approach. Before we go inside the detail of the algorithm, I want to discuss a live demonstration of with another problem statement, and there is very good tool for that. Okay, so let me show you that. Okay, so let's say we have these are the two sequence. Let's write another sequence of let's make it simple. Okay, so first let us understand the setup. Okay, so we have two strings, this and this. So you will build a table in which you have one sequence on rows and second sequence on column. So you have A, B, D, E, B, B, C, and you have another sequence on column. So now what you will do first, obviously the first column is 0. Here they are saying it's a -1 is 0. So now you will compare B and A, right? Because there is no match. So you will see both the cell. That means a cell at the above and cell at the left. Whatever is the maximum you will put here, both are same. So you will simply write 0. Okay. Then next, compare A and D. No match. So see the cell. Next, C and A, no match. Next, B and A, no match. Next, A and A, there is a match. You see the diagonal, +1. Okay, E and A, no match. Maximum 1. Okay, next row B and B match. So see the diagonal, so 0 + 1. B and B no match, so left, see the left or top left is 1, top is 0. So obviously 1 is maximum, so you write 1. Then B and C no match, right? What will be the value? 1. Then B and B match, so see the diagonal 0 plus 1, so 1. Then A and B no match, both are same, so 1. E and B no match, both are same, so 1. Next B and D no match, so both the values and 1 is maximum, so you write 1. Then D and D, we'll see the diagonal 1 plus 1, so that makes it 2. C and D, again no match, so we'll see both the cell, whichever is the maximum you will write. So maximum over here is 1 and 2. Sorry, 2. So that's why you write 2. Then B and D no match, 2. A and D no match, 2. E and D no match, 2. Similarly, no match, so you will see the top value is maximum, so 1. In D and E no match, so you will see both the value 2 is maximum, so 2. Then C and E no match, so both the value both are 2, so anyone. B and E, okay. A and E, okay. E and E, right? So there is a match, so that means you will see the diagonal and you will write 3. Again same match, so 1 plus 1, that makes it 2. C and D no match, B and D no match, B and A no match, B and E no match, 3 is maximum, so you write 3. Then no match, B and C no match, C and C there is a match, right? So you will see the diagonal C plus 1, that means 3. No match, diagonal, both. Okay. So this is how you can build the table, and then in order to generate a sequence, this is a traceback approach. So we'll see the arrows. Actually here the arrows are invisible, but this is how it's to be derived. Okay. We'll see one more example that can give you the idea. We'll see another tool where actually the step-by-step evaluation is not possible, but they are showing the arrows actually. So let me show you that. Right, so you have this input x and y. So you simply execute this. It has a traceback approach. Traceback means that gives you the idea about how the string is derived. So you have this arrow, so left, so that means stop. So you go here. Whenever you find diagonal, then you remember that. So that's why you make it yellow, right? Then diagonal you follow it. Again you follow diagonal. So remember B, diagonal, follow diagonal. So remember C, again diagonal. Okay, so you, that's why you have finding B C B A as your there is an actual algorithm for that as well, you can see over here, but obviously you need an arrow for that. So if it's an arrow corner or left or up, that will tell you which characters are part of string. So I hope this problem statement and the way we are solving is it clear. So now let's again go back to the presentation, and let me show you the algorithm as well. Okay, so this is the algorithm. For LCS, obviously we are passing two parameter x, y, m and n. Sorry, four parameters x, y, m and n. X represents first sequence, Y represents second, M represents length of first sequence, and N represents length of second subsequence. Or sorry, sequence. Obviously, you are interested in building a table, so you will build a table to 0 to M. Remember, sequence is 0 to M minus 1, but we are making sure that 0 is for null. So that's why we are now saying that sequence is between 1 to M, and that's why we are adding one more column and one more row. So it's 0 to M, 0 to N. If it is a first row, that means I equal to 0, or first column, that means J equal to 0. Then your value is 0. Else, if your latter matches, that means x of I is equal to y of j, then L of ij is equal to 1 plus L of diagonal. That means I minus 1, j minus 1. Else, what? L of ij is equal to previous row, previous row, same column. So Li minus 1 j or Lij minus 1. Maximum of these two, that will be your value of that cell. Finally, you complete these two for loop. What you will return is the last row and last column, that will give you the length of longest common subsequence between sequence x and y. Time complexity, for loop, inside that you have another for loop, so it's big of n square, or you can say, to be more precise, average case time complexity is theta of m and n, where m is the sequence of m is the length of first sequence and n is the length of second sequence. So I hope this is clear. Any doubt in this? Remember, this is a very popular problem statement for examination. In almost every question paper, you will find this. Not the algorithm, but you will be given sequences and you will be asked to find out longest common subsequence using this approach. Okay, so you must understand how it is being done. Obviously, when we are going to do the revision, we will be solving more questions on this problem statement. But at this point of time, I want, if you do not have any doubt, then I will complete my session. Okay, then that's it for today. Have a good day.